Welcome back. All right, so 10 games tonight. Pretty fun night of hockey. Depending on which teams you cheer for, that does make a difference. For me, just the one team that I cheered for that was playing tonight, but I was interested in all the results. In California, we were that close to a shootout in California. That close. You know, it sounds like I'm just kidding around, but yeah, I expect shootouts. I expect long games of the California, the 7:30 starts. It's kind of automatic. All right. First up, we've got the Calgary Flames and the Boston Bruins. So it's Vladar versus Ullmark. Playing Vladar was a right move here. He did his best. Both goaltenders were very good in this game. Flames would get a power play. They wouldn't score on it, but shortly after it ends, it's Hanifin getting a goal from Mangiapane and Backlund. So at 4:43 of the first, Calgary's up 1-0. Not only that, but 7 minutes into the first period, the shots are 5-0 for the Flames. They were playing very well. The Flames press at 7.5 minutes, but the Bruins get a power play. During that power play, pretty aggressive penalty kill by the Flames. They do kill that off. Power plays were not great tonight for either team. Nosek then has a rush chance that's saved, but Clifton would tie the game from Nosek and Pasternak at 16:38. So tie game, 1:21 left. The Bruins get a power play. It became a 4-on-4, which rolled over into the second period. Everything gets killed off, including the brief power play that the Flames had. But then the Flames go back to the power play. The Bruins did kill that one off as well. Rooney then has a shot deflect wide. Good shot blocking by the Bruins at this point. However, the shots are 7-0 for the Flames at 8 minutes. So if not for the shot blocking, it would have been worse. The Bruins press at 9.5 minutes. No shots, though. It was a strange strategy for the Bruins tonight. It was like they were rope-a-dope. Like, let's let them shoot themselves out, you know. And Ullmark's like, what? Nothing. Just don't worry about it, Linus. Just go out there and play. So there's a power play for the Flames. That was killed off. The Bruins then get a power play. Bergeron hits a post. That's cleared out. And then McAvoy, 4 seconds after the power play ends, he scores in his return to action from Zacha and Lindholm at 18:27. Hampus Lindholm continues to produce. Pasta was then denied as the Bruins pressed for more. And after 2 periods, it's 2-1 for Boston, even though from the starts of both periods, Calgary probably deserved to be ahead. Third period, near miss for Frederick. The Flames press. They're kept to the outside. Grzelcyk blocks a home run pass. They were trying for that stretch pass, and he blocked it. Flames then get a power play. That was killed off. The Flames had some momentum, though. Pasternak then had a rush where he was denied by Vladar. Ruzicka then has a shot saved as the Flames press back. The Flames would get a power play. The Bruins killed that off. They allowed 2 shots on it. It's all Flames. The Bruins are hanging on at this stage of the game. Ullmark was doing his best to steal it. The Bruins get a power play late. Krejci has a shot that's held. That was killed off. I think the Krejci shot was the only shot they had on that power play. Flames press. They pull the goaltender. Kadri fires one high, but at 19:27, Pasternak gets the insurance marker into the empty net from Marchand. So it's a 3-1 score for Boston. They go to 12-2 with the win. For Calgary, this is a tough one. They're 5-6-2 with the loss. Your shots are 13 apiece in the first, 8 each in the second, and 11-7 Calgary in the third. Final shots 32-28 for Calgary. They played a very good road game, just didn't get the result. Power plays, Calgary 0-6, Boston 0-5. Lots of power plays, no goals. Hits 25-25. So very evenly played game. Vladar saves 25 out of 27. As I said, he was very good. Ullmark saves 31 out of 32. Ullmark was very good as well. Solid game. All right, next up. The Oilers and Carolina. This was close, and then it just wasn't. So Campbell versus Kochetkov. I've seen everybody throwing Campbell under the bus. I guess that's the fashionable thing to do, but don't let the defense off the hook in this one. Don't let the fact that these players are guilty of some turnovers. It felt sort of like some Canucks hockey with some of this. So early jump was for the Oilers. The Canes, though, they get a power play. That was killed off by the Oilers. And the shots are 5-3 in favor of the road team at 8 minutes. So they started off very well. Kotkaniemi beats out an icing. Holloway then gets a penalty shot. That was saved. Campbell saves as Canes have some momentum. Again, Campbell was playing well. McDavid has a net drive that's defended. But at 19:40, after some really good defense by the Canes at the other end, Svechnikov scores from Teravainen and Aho at 19:40. So, yeah, we're looking at a period of hockey where the Oilers played well, but the Canes surged late, and they're up 1-0 after one. Second period, the Oilers get a power play. McDavid was denied. They cycle it. There's a shorthanded Martinook rush towards the end of it that kills the rest of it. The Canes then get a power play. It becomes 40 seconds of 5-on-3. It's a delay game call. You have to call those. During the 5-on-4, Burns would score from Natchez and Teravainen at 5:58. So Natchez stays hot. That makes it 2-0. The Oilers try to answer. They end up drawing themselves a power play, and they score on it. It's Hyman from Draisaitl and McDavid at 7:25. So that makes it 2-1. The Oilers press, but they're kept to the outside, and then it's Svechnikov. He loves playing the Oilers. Scores from Natchez at 10:24. So that makes it 3-1. The Oilers would get a press with 5.5 minutes left. Kochetkov was very good. Might have been his best game in the NHL thus far. The Canes get a power play with 2:37 left. They do not score on it. It's killed off, but right before the buzzer at 19:59, it's Stahl from Martinook and Slavin. That is a dagger. Makes it 4-1 for the Canes. So we're going to the third. Early chances for the Oilers. Slavin then had a rush chance that was blocked out. The Canes press at 3 minutes, but the shots are 5-2 Edmonton at 8 minutes, or at 6 minutes, I should say. And at 7:26, McDavid scored from Barrie and Kulak. I know I wrote the wrong thing because I wrote that before the goal happened. McDavid from Barrie and Kulak. And so, yeah, for McDavid, he gets 2 points. It makes it 4-2. Is there a comeback here? Not really. The Oilers would press with 8 minutes left, but eventually the Canes break through again. First, it's Martinook from Shea and Fast at 14:27, and then at 15:49, bring in your hats. It's Svechnikov from Aho and DeHaan. You know, when I do these reviews and it's a hat trick, I should just have hats I'm throwing. Sure, why not? But yeah, that makes it 6-2, and then just for giggles, Fast scores at 17:42 to make it 7-2. Yeah, the Canes win this one big. So this is a way to bounce back from a couple losses. They go to 9-4-1 on the season. The Oilers drop to 8-7. This is a frustrating loss for them. The shots, 14-8 Carolina in the first, 8-6 Edmonton in the second, 12-6 Carolina in the third. Final shots, 32-22 for Carolina. Power plays, the Oilers 1 for 2, Carolina 1 for 4. The hits, 21-12 for Edmonton. Campbell saves 25 out of 32. This has been a rough week for the Oilers. Neither goaltender has looked really solid. Kochetkov saves 20 out of 22. So, yeah, the Oilers do have a problem. It's not just the goaltending, though. The blue line certainly played its role in this. And if I was Ken Holland, I'd be trying to figure out how do we fix this and maybe getting on the phone and figuring something out. All right, next up, Ottawa. This is kind of a heartbreaker if you're a Sens fan because it looked like they might pull this off. But the Devils, it is quite the run they're on, isn't it? So it was Forsberg versus Vanacek. There was an early power play for the Sens. That was killed off. And then it's Tatar. I said he was due for a goal. He scores from Hughes and Siegenthaler at 4:44. The Sens then press at 7.5 minutes. 8.5 minutes in, the shots are 6-2 for the Devils. Playing very well. Then there's a power play for the Sens, and it's Pinto, who's been quiet in the last few games. Got loud tonight. He scores from Giroux and Sanderson at 12:15. Believe Giroux's on a 7-game point streak now. Tatar nearly answers it, but Hamonic would score at 13:24 from Kastelik. He wired that one from the point, so Hamonic with goals against Vancouver first and now New Jersey. Devils get a power play. Heischer had a shot that was blocked. They do kill that off, but Heischer would get on the board at 18:06 from Marino and Graves. So again, the blue line pitching in with points for the Devils. It's 2-2 after 1. Second period. Devils press at the minute-and-a-half mark, but at 2:53, they get the goal too. Wood scores from McLeod and Bastian. So that's, again, a goal from your bottom six. Wood's playing very well. The momentum's all Devils. Now at 8.5 minutes, the Senators would get some pressure, but with 9 minutes left, the shots are 14-6 for the Devils. They were playing very, very well. Forsberg doing his best to keep this close. Heischer then has a rush that sets up a press. Vanacek gets shaken up, and the Devils go to the power play. It was goalie interference. So Zetterlund has a blast that's held during that power play. That's killed off. Now in the third period, Vanacek would leave, and it looks like there was head contact. Maybe went into concussion protocol. Schmid would be called in. And you know what? Schmid did all right. So early chances for the Devils. They would score. This was still on Vanacek at 1:29. It's Pinto. So Pinto gets the second goal of the game and ties it up at 3. The Sens then press for the lead. There was a power play for Ottawa. That was killed off. The Sens press at 7.5 minutes. The shots are 5-2 for the Sens at 9.5 minutes. So not only does Schmid come in, but the Sens are doing everything they can to try to get the lead. DeBrincat has a rush chance. That was held. Good back and forth to finish things out. And then we go to overtime. In the overtime, it was kind of the Ottawa show. The Devils controlled first. Tkachuk's denied, but the Senators go to the power play. DeBrincat fires one wide. Stützle was denied by Schmid. Haula was without a stick, so it was 4-on-2.5 for some very tense moments there. That's killed off. Tkachuk's denied after. Pinto fires one high. The Devils then get a power play, and they would score on theirs. It is Hamilton on a face-off win from Hughes and Hischier at 4:27, and that's the game. Your final score is 4-3 in overtime for New Jersey. They go to 11-3. That's 8 wins in a row. Kudos to New Jersey for that. Remember when you guys wanted to fire Lindy Ruff a month ago? Good thing you didn't. And then 7 losses in a row for Ottawa, this being the first one in overtime, so they dropped to 4-8-1. That's a tough record for Ottawa. Your shots in this one, 11-7 New Jersey in the first, 21-7 for New Jersey in the second, 9-7 Ottawa in the third, and then in the overtime, 5-2 for Ottawa. So the last 2 shots of the third period were saved by Schmid, and the 5 in the overtime as well. Final shots, 41-28 for New Jersey. Power plays, Ottawa 1 for 4, New Jersey 1 for 3. The hits, 14-6 in favor of Ottawa. Forsberg saves 37 out of 41. Vanacek saved 18 out of 21. Schmid saved 7 out of 7. I did pause to check. Lindy Ruff is not concerned in regards to the status for Vanacek. So it doesn't sound like it's major. It doesn't sound like it should keep him out. But if you're a Devils fan, that is one concern you're going to have is, oh no, it's like last year, we're starting to lose goaltenders, right? So Blackwood's out 3 to 6 weeks. Now Vanacek gets hurt, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be anything major. So yeah, here's to hoping that New Jersey can A, keep things going, and B, that they don't run into any more injuries when it comes to goaltenders. All right, next up, Philadelphia in against Columbus. So this was the battle of the Tortorella team versus the former Tortorella team. It was Hart versus Korpisalo. Hart had a rush start to this one. Gaudreau scores from Werenski at 3:53. He wired it on a rush. And all I could think was, I talked about Carter Hart in a video today. I shouldn't have. I jinxed him. Delorier had a fight with Olivier, and when those guys fight with each other, not only do their names rhyme, but it's a pretty good fight as well. Shots are 4-2 for Columbus at 7.5 minutes. Columbus presses with 9.5 minutes left. Eventually, Werenski would get a goal from Gaudreau at 12:03. So they exchanged goals, one assists on the other, and then vice versa. Things get punchy after a hold by Korpisalo. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 out of that. Konechny fires one wide as the Flyers press, but after the first period, it's 2-0 in favor of Columbus. And early in the third, they add to the lead. It's Jenner from Laine and Gaudreau at 37 seconds. That's the kind of scoring play that Columbus fans wanted at the start of the year, and that meant that Johnny Gaudreau had 3 points already at this stage of the game. Sedlak then had a rush chance that was held. Korpisalo looked really good. This might be the best he's played in a while. I'm looking back to last season, and most of his starts last season were very good. He's been good since returning so far, and they needed that, right? They really needed it. With the numbers for Tarasov dropping off and Merzlikin's numbers being ugly, they needed Korpisalo to come back big. Tippett has a rush chance to deflect high. Columbus gets a power play. Philadelphia did kill that off. Shots are 8-5 Columbus at 9 minutes. Line A to Gaudreau, that gets blocked. The Flyers press, and eventually they score. It's D'Angelo from Provorov and Noah Cates at 13:04. Korpisalo just couldn't hold on to it, and so it goes in the net. Columbus then gets a power play. That was killed off. The Flyers do press to close things out. So we're going to the third period. McEwen fires one wide on a rush. 5 minutes into the period, the shots are 6-1 for the Flyers. They wanted this. And again, as I've said with the Flyers, it is impressive they don't go away. They don't give up. Provorov would score to make it closer. He scores from Konechny and Farabee at 8:41 to make it 3-2 in favor of Columbus. So getting that one goal closer. Tippett then had a rush chance that kicked aside. Tippett getting a lot of opportunities tonight. Goalie pull with 2.5 minutes left. D'Angelo has a shot that's saved, and then it's an empty netter. It's Blankenberg from Gauntz at 18:21. Brendan Gauntz on the board. There you go. They pull the goaltender again, and Boone Jenner hits the empty net at 19:42. Your final score is 5-2 for Columbus. They go to 4-9 with the win, and for Philadelphia, they're 7-4-2 with the loss. And yeah, I expect Philadelphia to bounce back next game because Tortorella does not abide any kind of slump. So the shots in this one, 12-9 Philly in the first, 11-6 Columbus in the second, 16-9 Philadelphia in the third. Final shots, 34-29 for the Flyers, who had 0 power plays. I'm sure Tortorella was happy about that. Columbus was 0 for 2. Hits 15 to 12 for Philadelphia. Carter Hart saves 24 out of 27. So he had a rough start, but by the end of the night, he'd recovered his stats up to almost 900 for the save percentage. Korpisalo saves 32 out of 34. And again, he was excellent all night. So good on Korpisalo, and a pretty good game for Columbus overall. All right, next up. The last one on this board is Vegas in against Buffalo. So remember last year when Buffalo, was taunting Eichel and booing Eichel, and Buffalo beat Vegas and it was a feel-good story? You know who else remembers that? Jack Eichel. So it was Thompson versus Comrie in this one, and I'm going to come out and say it. I think Anderson deserves more starts at this point. I just do. I'm not putting it all on Comrie, just like I'm not putting all of it on Campbell, but yeah, I think Anderson deserves some extra starts here. Olofsson has a rush chance that's blocked. Early jump was for the Sabres, but Vegas gets power play. Now, this one here is... Yeah, this is a power play goal, and I apologize for not putting it up as such. At 5:44, it's Stevenson from Marchessault and Pietrangelo. So again, Vegas likes to have guys with really long last names because it really messes up my board. It's hard to get them all in there. Shots are 6-2 for Vegas at 6.5 minutes. That's what she said. No time. Near miss for Middlestad. The Sabres get a power play. They score on theirs. It is Thompson from Okposo and Dahlin at 16:27. So the Sabres fight back and they tie it. Haig then scores, but it's an offside challenge, and so it's no goal. Stretch pass to Smith, near miss there, but Vegas comes out of that first period. They had to feel pretty good about that period. They had 15 shots. It's a score. It's a tie score, but just keep it up. Second period, 3:43. It's Kessel. So Kessel gets on the board from Raw and Cotter. Sabres tried to answer. The shots are 4-1 for Vegas, though, at 9 minutes. Interestingly enough, the momentum kind of shifts to Buffalo from that stage of the period. Sabres get a power play, good cycle, saves by Logan Thompson, and then Middlestad would score a power play goal at 14:09 from Cousins and Peterka. So that makes it a 2-2 tie. But at 17:08, Cotter gets a goal from Roy to put Vegas back in the lead. Power then had a shot that was blocked as they press. But keep in mind, as the period comes to an end, Vegas came into tonight 6-0 when they lead after 2 periods. They do not give up leads in the third because the third's really their best period of hockey. And this third period, I don't know if they would say it was their best period of hockey because they did allow a goal or two, but it was entertaining. So net feed to Krebs, near miss there. Lyubushkin had a shot that's kicked aside, but Pietrangelo would score through a screen from Eichel and Stevenson at 3:52. And then at 6:13, it's Jack Eichel himself. He scores from Pietrangelo and Stevenson, so again, the long names there. But Tage Thompson would answer, scoring on Logan Thompson, no relation, from Skinner and Hinostroza at 9:40. So Buffalo's trying to get back into this, but Vegas isn't having it. Well, Eichel's not having it. He scores from Stevenson and Stone at 14:37, and then Vegas gets a power play. And again, this is where at least Buffalo has some fight. They get a shorthanded goal. It's Asplund from Cousins and Bryson at 16:31. It then becomes 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off. And then it's an empty net goal. It's a hat trick. It's Eichel. He scores from Martinez at 19:52. And I would imagine that all Buffalo fans cheered, applauded him, and threw their hats on the ice as gracious hosts. The final score is 7-4 in favor of Vegas. They go to 13-2 on the season. Buffalo has kind of frittered away that good start. They're now at 7-7. It's been a tough schedule. I know that. They've played tough teams. But you can see that they're a step behind those top teams. And now they find themselves back at 500. Your shots in this one, 15-10 Vegas in the first, 13-6 Buffalo in the second, 15-12 Vegas in the third. Final shots, 36-35 for the Golden Knights. Power plays, Vegas 1 for 2. Buffalo went 2 for 3. Hits 15-8 for Vegas, so not a very physical game. Thompson saves 31 out of 35, and Comrie saves 29 out of 35. So, kind of a rough night for Comrie. We'll see what Buffalo does from here, but now I need to change boards. This is kind of funny. So, during the live stream for patrons and members today, I was asked between Detroit and Edmonton which team I thought had a better chance, and I said, well, maybe Detroit because the Rangers are unpredictable. I didn't think the Oilers had much of a chance with Carolina coming off back-to-back losses. Turns out my answer should have been nope. Which team has a better chance? The answer is no. And it's weird because this was close through most of it. And then it just really, really wasn't. So it's Shesterkin versus Husso. The shots are one apiece 4 minutes in. Kind of a slow start there. It would pick up, as you can see. The Wings had a 3-on-2. That's defended. Trouba has a net feed. That's blocked. The Rangers were stuck on one shot for a while. Not necessarily a big deal in the end, right? Pressed by the Rangers with 6.5 minutes left. Gauthier couldn't bury one in close. There was more press from the Rangers. Husso holds. Looked like he was going to have a good game. But Zibanejad would open the scoring from Fox at 15:40. Before the period's out, Detroit would tie it. It's Veleno from Bergeron and Mata at 18:46. So it's 1-1 after one. Close game. Second period. Near miss for Zibanejad. Wings get zone time. They do not get shots during that, though. The Rangers get a power play. Detroit did kill that one off. Rasmussen with a net drive. That was denied. There was mentions by Mickey Redmond and Ken Daniels about how Rasmussen's playing with more confidence right now, and the net drives are definitely something that's more of a recent development in his game. Shots are 3-2 for the Rangers at 6.5 minutes, but at 7:33, the Detroit Red Wings would get the lead. It's Raymond from Larkin. So there you go. It's over. Go ahead. It's 2-1 Detroit. That's it. They win. Nope. Rangers press to answer. They would end up getting a power play. They would score on it as Chris Kreider is heating up again from Panarin and Fox at 10:59. The Wings press with 7 minutes left, but the Rangers go back to the power play. Zibanejad's denied. That's killed off. The Wings would then get a power play with 1 minute and 23 seconds left, so that rolls over into the third, where the Rangers finish the kill. The Wings had the early edge. I wrote that. I meant it. It was a thing. The Rangers press at 4 minutes. Ernie fires one wide on a rush, and then the dam bursts, and boy, does it ever. At 6:01, it's Fox from Hedel and Lafreniere. At 7:22, it's Goudreau from Panarin and Kravtsov. At 8:13, it's Zibanejad from Vesey and Kreider. And then at 8:58, it's Gauthier from Goudreau and Blaine. This meltdown, 2 minutes and 57 seconds, 4 goals for the Rangers. So I didn't need to take notes anymore. I was just like, okay, there's another and another and another. And then Gauthier, who couldn't bury one in close in the first, he did get that one to round out that 4-goal smush that's right in there. And then at 12:47, it blows up again. It's Hayek with his first goal of the year. He scores from Hedel and Lafreniere, so Lafreniere with a couple of assists tonight. The Wings get a power play. They needed 5. So what happened? A shorthanded goal for Jimmy Vesey is what happened at 16:31. So now Detroit needed 6. You'll be surprised to know they didn't muster 6 goals in the final 3.5 minutes. Your final score is 8-2. The Rangers with an emphatic win of 7-5-3, and Detroit has this habit right now of losing big. They go to 7-4-3 with the loss. Their goal differential has to be ugly after tonight. It just has to be. I think they were a -2 coming into this. It has so it'd be a -10 or negative. No, my math sucks. -8 then, right? So, anyways, doesn't matter. Your shots: 7-6 Detroit in the first, 10-4 Rangers in the second, 17-9 Rangers in the third. Final shots are 33-20 for the Rangers. As I said, the Rangers are very unpredictable. They can be really good, really mediocre, and tonight they were really good again. Power plays, the Rangers 1 for 3, Detroit 0 for 2. The hits, 31-25 for Detroit. Shesterkin wasn't that busy. He saves 18 out of 20. Husso just took a sledgehammer to his save percentage. 25 saves on 33 shots will do that. So, yeah, entertaining game if you're a Rangers fan. Next up, Arizona. So the Coyotes in against the Islanders, and I have to say, this 14-game road trip is going very, very well for the Coyotes. And this whole, the West can't beat the East thing, Coyotes don't know what you're talking about. So it's Vejmelka versus Sorokin in this one. Early test for Sorokin, he passed that. Lee is then denied and close. The Islanders get a power play. That was killed off. Josh Brown then had a fight with Matt Martin. It's Martin's first fight of the season, and I think they said only the second for the Islanders all year. Shots are 5-3 for the Coyotes with 8.5 minutes left. So yeah, it's one of those games. I was not a game with a lot of prime chances, but you could tell this is the way the Coyotes wanted to play it. Romanov has a blast that's held. Vejmelka was really quite good in this game. I can't say enough about how when Vejmelka's on, he looks like a wall out there. Power play for the Islanders, that's killed off. Bailey then had a shot that deflects out. It's scoreless after 1. So we go to the second period. Sorokin denied Goss to spare. The Islanders press at 1.5 minutes. They also had a post while they were on that press. The Coyotes get a power play. There's a good cycle. The Islanders clear it out. They killed it off. Things go pretty well for the Coyotes. They're ahead in shots 3-1 at 6.5 minutes. So much like the first period, they're controlling things. They're limiting chances. Things get pushy after a hold by Sorokin. That that would ramp up. And I'm going to agree with Butch Goring on this. The referees needed to put their foot down in this one, and they really didn't. They just let these guys continue to, after every whistle, push and punch and push and punch, and eventually it escalates, and it can turn into a line brawl. Yeah, so you've got to watch for that. The Islanders press at the half. Parisi has a shot that's held. Bjugstad was denied on a 3-on-1 for the Coyotes. The Islanders press with 7.5 minutes left. Keller defended a Palmieri rush. Looked like a good defenseman on that, even though he's a forward. With 7 seconds left, the Coyotes get a power play. So that rolls over into the third. We're still scoreless until Travis Boyd, who is off to another good start to a season from Keller and Mosier at a minute. And it was a good cycle, and it's a goal. The Coyotes have a very good power play. Not sure what's happening here, but we can't look at this now and say, well, it's just the start. It's still early. We're 13 games into the season for Arizona. This might be who they are. There was a post for Martin on a rush. The Islanders get a power play. That's killed off. Cizikas almost had a goal. Like, that was so close. Can't push the goalie in, though, so it doesn't happen. And the punching at this point is just picking up, and it's frequent. It's every stoppage. It's just stoppage. Does the goalie have it? Okay. And I don't even know if they were looking. Just throw punches. Coyotes get a power play. Michelli had a shot that was saved. The Islanders clear it out. Nelson's then denied as the Islanders press. Pajot had a rush chance. That was saved. Krause had a 2-on-1 chance that was blocked. We get more punching on the next stoppage because got to be punching. Pulock fires one wide as the Islanders press. They would pull the goaltender with 1 minute and 38 seconds left. And McBain hits the empty net. Yep. Way to go, McBain. From Keller and Hayton at 1929. I wonder how many times he gets like Simpson references. So the final score is 2-0 in favor of Arizona. They go to 6-6-1. Yeah, they're back at NHL 500. And this road trip started pretty well. On the Islanders side, they're now 9-6. So they're going to kick themselves over this one. But Arizona does this. The shots in the first 10-8 for the Islanders. 9-3 for Arizona in the second. Both teams had 11 shots in the third. Final shots 28-24 for Arizona. Power plays, the Coyotes 1 for 3, the Islanders 0 for 3. The hits 36-27 for the Islanders. Vejmelka saves all 24 shots. There's the shutout. Sorokin saved 26 out of 27. He was very good. This is how the Coyotes play now. They have a good power play. So just 5-on-5. They gum up the middle of the ice. And good luck. Best of luck to you. It seems to be working pretty well for them right now. All right, next up. San Jose. So the Sharks in against the Blues here in a battle of two teams that have been going in the wrong direction lately. I did wear a Blues jersey for the preview. I was pretty sure that they should pull this out. The Blues are not as bad as their losing streak, and they're not. Their numbers are just awful. They're better than their numbers. So it's Kakkonen versus Binnington. Early chances for both, but at 2.5 minutes, a good press gets Krug the goal from Schenn and Falk. So Krug, who's been off to a rough start to the season, needed that one. Sharks press to answer. The Blues, strong transition game early. Like their ability to get it from their own zone into the other zone relatively quickly and easily was impressive. So the shots are 4-3 for the Blues at 6 minutes. They get a power play. Kairu's denied in close. The power play's killed off. Falk had a blast that was held. Before the period's out at 16-19, Timo Meier, who's heating up, scores from LeBanc and Carlson. That one went in off Falk. So tough break for Falk. He gets the assist on that goal for the Sharks, just like he had the assist on the goal for the Blues. So it's 1-1 after one. Second period, the shots are 2 apiece at 3.5 minutes. The Blues, with a rush, they draw a power play. And guess who scores on the power play? It's Jordan Kyrou. He needed that. At 6:59 from Buchnevich and Thomas. Great pass, and he just buries it. Blues press with 9.5 minutes left. But at 13:05, Hertl ties the game. He scores from LeBanc and Ferraro. The Sharks then press with 3 minutes left, but Brandon Saad, a rush chance of his own, he scores from Levo and Rosen at 18:08. So Josh Levo on the board. People know I'm a Levo fan for the reason I've talked about with these fringe players that are in the NHL and then they're in the AHL. I really appreciate those players sticking around and staying with the game, like Brendan Gaunce with Columbus. So third period, early press by the Sharks, and they would score. So again, we're in a tie game. Couture from Carlson at 1:26. Sharks then press at 3 minutes. Hertl had a shot that was blocked. Parayko has a blast that goes high. Schenn's denied. Kakkonen holds on to that. But then the Blues. They would go into the lead again as Calle Rosen, who does get on the board here and there. He also is a French player that clears waivers, goes to the minors, but plays pretty well when he comes up. Thomas and Tarasenko with the assists at 8 minutes and 20 seconds. The interesting thing is halfway through the period, the shots are 6-2 for San Jose, but one of those two shots have gone in favor of the Blues. Sturm misses an open net. He was also bothered on that one, so he had help missing the open net. I think it was Tarasenko that defended that one. Goalie gets pulled with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Eventually, that empty net would be hit by the Blues. It's Achari. He scores from Buchnevich at 1941 and makes the final score 5-3 for St. Louis, who go to 4-8 with the win. They've got to get that record cleaned up. For San Jose, it's another frustrating loss. They're now 3-9-3 on the season. The shots 11-9, San Jose in the first, 18-10, St. Louis in the second, 9-6, San Jose in the third. Final shots 33-30 for St. Louis. Power plays, San Jose didn't have any. St. Louis was 1 for 2. The hits 19-18, San Jose. Kakkonen saves 28 out of 32. Binnington saves 27 out of 30. So, entertaining game, and the Blues end up coming out with a win. They get a quality start from Binnington. All is right in the world for tonight. All right, next up, Nashville and Colorado. This one wasn't interesting for portions of it. Got kind of interesting, though, early in the third. So it's Lankinen versus Georgiev. Peter McNabb being lost by that organization. They did him right tonight. They had a nice pregame ceremony. They talked about him throughout the show. They had Joe Sakic up in the booth to talk about Peter McNabb. It was nice. There was a lot of stuff I didn't know about Peter that I learned watching this, and what a great guy. I was even browsing around Cool Hockey and thinking, maybe I need a Bruins jersey with McNabb on the back, but I didn't get one, but at some point I think maybe that's something I should add to the collection, get McNabb's name maybe just get it put on the back of one of the blank jerseys I have. So, early chances for the Abs. The shots are 3 apiece at 3.5 minutes. At 3:45, though, Nashville gets the lead. It's Tolvanen from McDonough and Glass. So I've talked about Tolvanen in a recent news video that he was being scratched a lot lately by Nashville. Maybe that's got him going. The Abs press, they draw a power play, and they would score on it. So the lead doesn't last that long. At 7:37, Rantanen with the power play marker from McKinnon and Lehkonen. 6 straight shots for the Abs during that first period, too. So once they got some momentum, they were doing well. McKinnon has a blasted save. The Abs press with 3.5 minutes left. Forsberg has a chance to deflect out with 1:07 left. The Abs get a power play. That rolls over into the second period, where Nashville would finish off the kill. Newhook was denied on a rush. Newhook getting a lot of praise from Colorado Avalanche announcers because he's been playing really well lately, and he has. And so the puck's going to start going in for him. Has to. Kaut has a shot that's held as the Abs control. The Abs press at 5.5 minutes. Eventually they get a goal, and it's O'Connor. He scores from Taves and Comfer at 6:34, and he enjoyed that so much that on a breakaway, while Joe Sakic is talking, he scored on that breakaway from Comfer at 7:59. So what I like with this is that Sakic's talking, and then the announcer breaks in over Sakic without being rude, because O'Connor's on a breakaway, announces the goal, and then throws right back to Sakic, and that's how it should work. Preds score after the whistle, so that doesn't count, so that wasn't the comeback goal they hoped it would be. Preds end up with a power play. That was unsuccessful. And then Rantanen would score at 10:48 from McKinnon and McDermott, and that's on a break. So McKinnon with a break goal. O'Connor with a break as well. That had to drive John Hines nuts behind the Nashville bench. You don't like seeing breakaways like that. The Avs then get a power play. They score on theirs. Rodriguez scores from Rantanen and McCarr at 15:12. And it looks like they're going to run away with it. It's 5-1. And I even mentioned to my wife at that point, I showed her both boards. I'm like, what is it with teams going on runs like this during games? This is just crazy. But on that, in the final minute, there's a power play for the Predators with 54.5 seconds left. And in 1932, they do get a goal. It's Johansson from Granlund and Forsberg. Nice goal by Johansson, his 5th of the season. And so that makes it 5-2 after 2. Third period, there's a press by the Preds at 1.5 minutes, and eventually they get a goal, and it's Yossi who needed this from Fabro and Jankowski at 2:59. Mark Jankowski's fit in pretty well in Nashville. So that makes it 5-3. Kaut then misses wide on a net, or misses high on a net drive. Shots are 5-3 for Nashville at 9 minutes. No more shots in the rest of the game for Colorado either. Goalie pull with 3 minutes left with 1:21 left. Preds call a timeout. They didn't allow an empty netter, but they did not get another goal either. Your final score is 5-3 for Colorado. They're 7-4-1 with that win, quietly fixing their record. Nashville 5-8-1 with the loss. That's a tough one. The shots in this one: 21-14 Colorado in the first, 12-11 Nashville in the second, even though they allowed 4 goals. 9-3 Nashville in the third. Final shots 35-35. Power plays: Nashville 1 for 2, Colorado 2 for 3. Hits were 32 to 23 in favor of Nashville. Lankinen saves 30 out of 35. That'll hurt his save percentage. Georgiev saved 31 out of 34, and I thought he had a good game. Georgiev, I think, has emerged now as the starting goaltender for Colorado, and I think that's fun. That's great. And so Colorado seems to be on a little bit of a run here. All right, last game of the night. It's California start. It's LA, Chicago. It's going to be low scoring. There's going to be some low event hockey here and there, but it was a fun game. And this was a more enjoyable game to watch than their first matchup, which wasn't quite watching paint dry, but it was in the vicinity of watching the painting without watching it dry, right? Like, you could have some fun with that. Not a lot, but it's not like watching it dry. So Mrazek versus Quick, and what a return for Peter Mrazek. Absolutely great game for Mrazek tonight. Shots are 2-0 Kings at 2.5 minutes. They came out, they had the jump early. Lemieux denied on fast break. Arvidsson then had a net feed. That was blocked. Velarde goes beast mode, but his shot was blocked as well. So Velarde, again, impressive in this one. The Hawks get a power play. Domi has a blast that's saved. We then had 10 seconds of 4-on-4 before the Kings would go to the power play. Fiala was denied during that process, and that is killed off by the Hawks. There's a near miss then for Fiala on a rush, so Fiala getting some opportunities tonight. The Hawks went over 8 minutes without a shot, but with 1:35 left in the period, they get a power play, and on that first shot in a while, they score. It's Radish from Taves and Domi at 18:51. Really nice three-way pass. Radish buries it. That's his 4th of the year. Kings get a power play with 22 seconds left, so that rolls over into the second period, and shortly after it ends, Danault scores from Arvidsson and Moore at 1:41. So that's a scoring combination we saw a lot last year, and there it is this year. Kings then press for the lead. Durzi has a screenshot. That's held. Grundstrom with a near miss on a net drive. The shots are 5-0 for the Kings at 6 minutes, so they really wanted this. The Hawks get a power play. There was a shorthanded Doughty shot, deflects wide. That power play is killed off. 4 shots for the Hawks on that power play. The Hawks, though, go back to the power play. Quick denies Taves in close. That power play is killed off. The Kings then press with 3 minutes left. Roy ends up hitting the post. Heavy press by the Kings in the final minute. All the momentum went to LA, and that rolled over into the third, where they started the third where they ended the second. They had early pressure. They also get a power play out of all that pressure. Chicago did kill that off. Good penalty kill by the Hawks tonight. The Kings go back to the power play. The Hawks don't let them set up that time. When teams go to the power play that many times, I kind of feel like maybe it works well for the penalty killers because they've already been penalty killing. They already know they can do this. And so they're like, their confidence is better. It feels like it benefits teams that take back-to-back penalties. It's weird, but I think that's what it is. Like, get into the rhythm as the penalty killers, and you're good. The problem is it cools off the guys that don't work the penalty kill. And it can overwork the guys who do. So the Hawks didn't let them set up. They killed that off. The shots are 5-2 for the Kings at 9 minutes. Kempe had a tip shot that was held. Kempe's he's going to start getting pucks in the net pretty soon. Hawks press with 4.5 minutes left. Athanasiou has a net drive that's held. We're going overtime. I did limit the amount of note-taking I had in this game because it was the only one on because I knew it's going to overtime. I don't want to use a tiny board. It's probably going to go to a shootout. Almost did. In the overtime, Kings controlled early. Kopitar fires one wide on a rush. He's denied in close. Taves intercepts the pass. And honestly, the Hawks had opportunities. They had opportunities. Quick was fantastic in the overtime. Khrushchev was denied on a fast break. And then at 4:58, 1.4 seconds left on the clock, it's Fiala who had those opportunities early. He gets the goal from Danault. So your final score is 2-1 in overtime for the Kings. They go to 9-6-1 with the win. They're now third in the division with Seattle second and Vegas first. Fantastic. For the Hawks, they're still getting points. They're 5-5-3. They're not really falling out of the race. But the shots in this one, 8-4 LA in the first, 12-10 Chicago in the second, 12-9 LA in the third, 5-1 in favor of Chicago in the overtime. But the one shot for LA went in just as the period was coming to an end, by which I mean the overtime. Final shots 31-30 for LA. Power play Chicago 1-for-4, LA 0-for-4. Hits were 34-20 for Chicago. Mrazek saves 29 out of 31. Quick saves 29 out of 30. So both goaltenders played very well. There were 60 shots that they they dealt with, well, 61 shots. Sorry, 61 shots they dealt with. That's a pretty good game. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.